Hello everyone, I'm Harry,
I'm Steve.
and welcome to the Marvel movie marathon, Marvel movie com marathon. I needed to think of a better name for that before we started recording.
You can think of it later.
Yeah, this is our commentary for Iron Man, released in 2008, and is what started off I guess what we're calling the cinematic universe.
The MCU.
Yep, it all started here, and all I have to say is this is just such a great film. It really is.
It brought Marvel into some relevance in the mainstream.
Yeah, and what a character to do it on. I mean, like, Iron Man. Like, I'll be honest, I had heard of Iron Man because I used to have, like, single issues. But, like, was Iron Man for you? Was he kind of a big character?
He barely existed to me, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, well, you and basically 90% of the world. And, it was just, like, such a... You know what I mean? It's such a weird character to start with.
Really is. You'd think they'd start with, like, the Hulk or even Captain America.
But to be fair, the Hulk was the next film they did, but this
True.
is before they had any concept of a cinematic universe. Literally, in the Hulk, there are no mentions of it because there was no point in bringing it up because the idea hadn't formed, and any mentions of it now have been done after the film has come out.
And you could tell because this is, like, completely standalone, isn't it? There's not really any mentions of sequels yet.
No, the bit after the credits, which we won't be watching, that was added in after the film had already come out.
Okay.
People, Jon Favreau basically went, "Oh, wouldn't it be funny if this happened?" And they just did it, and that's basically why we have the universe.
Okay. Well, see, I usually don't sit past the credits of movies, so I didn't know if it was in the original or not.
No, it wasn't in the original kind of like 4 weeks when it came out, but like after 4 weeks they decided as a laugh, why didn't we add Samuel L. Jackson to Nick Fury? Now, let's getting into the technical side of this. I know a lot about this film, not bragging, humble brag. This is basically an indie film, and to kind of clarify what I mean by that was, Marvel wasn't a movie studio. You have to remember, Marvel was a comics company first before it was a quote-unquote film company. They weren't... A lot of Marvel films like Spider-Man, The Punisher, and the first Hulk film, they were made by other companies, so the movie rights were bought for them from Marvel by them. This was the first project made by a Marvel film production company. And they basically had no budget. And the Robert Downey Jr., we'll get to in a minute, he took a massive pay cut to get the effects budget, basically, because he believed in the character enough. And that with the amount of budget that these films get now, that to me is shocking.
I just love how you're so casually talking about all this while this is going on.
It's like, I'm going like, the effects budget wasn't much, and there's like huge explosions going on around.
And then Marvel exploded, just like that vehicle.
By the way, this is the irony bomb. Oh, shit! That moment when you get hit by your own bomb. Okay, I mentioned it earlier about Robert Downey Jr. He was on his way out, basically, as a career when this film came out and when he started doing this. This was sort of kind of a career redemption for him, and not gonna beat around the bush. He's perfectly cast. He is Tony Stark. Nobody can be Tony Stark besides Robert Downey Jr. And I swear to God, if Marvel gets someone else, I'll be very angry.
If he ends up like Spider-Man, is what you're saying?
Don't joke like that. No, he looks like Tony Stark anyway. Like, honestly, he just does. But like, this whole kind of you remember Robert Downey Jr. was in the paparazzi a lot for getting involved in scandals and drugs and all of that. And that is what Tony Stark does in the comics anyway. He was built for that role. No pun intended.
You know, did they actually like use any of that as a gauge for casting him?
Well, basically, the casting process, there's actually a video of this on the Blu-ray box set of the Marvel Phase 1. If you see his screen test, it's the scene later on. Do you know when it's actually after this bit, when he's getting into the car and he chats up that woman?
Yeah.
He basically did that, but he totally improvised what he was going to say. And it's basically what he says in the scene anyway. And they just went, okay, yeah, that's Tony Stark. We don't need to do anything else. He is the character.
Nice.
I will say this. This is something a lot of people may not know. This film did not have a script. I shit you not. It had no script when it went into production. What? Seriously. I will point out scenes that were totally improvised. They basically said we couldn't come up with a story, and we were running out of time, so we had to start scenes and rely on the actors to kind of do them. This scene is obviously scripted. You can't get away with doing that with Terrence Howard. He's a terrible actor. But like, there's the scenes. Every scene apparently between Gwyneth Paltrow and Robert Downey Jr. is totally improvised.
Huh.
So that to me is an indication of their acting. They knew they knew their characters. Simple as that.
Okay, I should clarify something. I know jack shit about comics, and I know even less about actors. So Robert Downey Jr. That's about the extent of my knowledge.
Okay. So what do you want me to fill you on?
Well, no, I'm just saying that whenever you like mention an actor, just kind of say who they play.
Okay, just to sum up, Gwyneth Paltrow, pretentious and was married to Chris Martin from Coldplay. There you go. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
She's kind of hated, but I think she's a great actress. Now, as for great actors, Jeff Bridges is the greatest thing about this film. Besides Robert Downey Jr., the writing, and just generally being funny, Jeff Bridges eats the scenery in every single scene he's in.
Who I assume is Stane.
Yeah, Obadiah Stane.
Okay.
In the comics,
I just said this.
Obadiah Stane is a totally different character in the comics. I don't know. I couldn't tell you specifics, but Jeff Bridges basically just made the character his own, basically, and they kind of thought it would be a bit better. Actually, I think Robert Downey Jr. Again, a lot of this is either hearsay or just IMDb trivia, so I don't know if it's 100% correct. Apparently, Robert Downey Jr. kind of pushed the backstories along. He wanted this character to act this way, or something like that. As for cameos, on the left there, Happy Hogan is Jon Favreau, the director.
I actually do know that. That's pretty interesting.
Jon Favreau is a legend. He's also consulted for Tony Stark in every single Avengers film, so whenever they need to know kind of what he would do, they kind of go to him.
It's kind of weird that they ask the person who in the story is his bodyguard.
Yeah. Also, I didn't point this out earlier. Do you know that scene where he was getting the trophy and he didn't show up?
Yeah.
The music that plays when he is to accept his award is a rendition of the theme from the 60s Iron Man TV show, which is a nice little in-joke.
Yeah, okay, that's something I never would have gotten, so thank you.
Okay, this is the scene I'm talking about where he totally improvised it. And I'll say Robert Downey Jr. is a good dramatic actor. He's also one of the funniest men I have ever seen. So his ability to like improvise this, and like that's the great thing about his improvising. It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like he's read a script and he's so good at pulling it off. It's just naturally funny.
Well, it's just kind of the way Tony Stark's character is. It kind of makes it sound like he's improvising everything he says anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Now, as for certain kind of like what Tony Stark is based on in this film, he's more based on his Ultimate Universe counterpart. Ultimate Marvel was a brand of comics that started in like 2001, and it was kind of a reboot of everything, and it was kind of bring in like new readers. It's also Ultimate Spider-Man is my favourite comics run of all time, but that's neither here nor there. The Iron Man in those comics is basically Robert Downey Jr. He is over the top. He's a womanizer. He drinks like a fish, and he is one of the funniest comic book characters in anything ever. He's fucking hilarious.
Okay, now here's what I'm wondering: Did the MCU actually influence the comics at all?
Yes. In one particular way, the Ultimate Universe. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that. I went to say Nick Fury and I said Samuel L. Jackson.
Director Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay. The Nick Fury in the Ultimate Universe was drawn to look like Samuel L. Jackson. That is why Samuel L. Jackson was cast as Nick Fury. It's kind of like a weird time paradox thing where Sam Jackson creates the role that the role creates for Sam Jackson. It's really weird, but that character has definitely influenced the mainstream line. The Iron Man in the mainstream Marvel comics has been made to look more like Robert Downey Jr. Just stuff like that. It's a lot of it is made to look more like these characters.
Okay.
In the film versions. I don't really like that because I like them to have their own separate thing. I can see why they're doing it though.
But they're not actually like influenced by storylines. It's just kind of like a subtle change of appearance.
It's more the designs they're copying. Like storylines, to be fair, the MCU tends to have its own, I guess. Like, I mean, this like, if we're going to get into adaptions, this story is influenced by Extremis, which is it was basically a reboot of Iron Man, made in like 2005, something like that. And it's kind of the same story, but the Extremis kind of plot point was brought back for Iron Man 3, so it's very confusing like that.
Okay. See, I was aware that some of the films are based off of arcs in the comics.
Yeah, but only slightly. So, say for example, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That is almost nothing like the story arc.
Okay.
One thing I absolutely adore about this film, besides the acting and basically everything, is the soundtrack. It's by Ramin Djawadi. It's such a great soundtrack, and again, like everything else in the film, it was rushed. And it actually has an appearance from Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. He has a cameo in the film. I'll point it out a bit later, but his guitar work is very distinctive. Like, you know, like every theme in this film has like very heavy rock kind of influences. His guitar playing is like in every single fucking song.
I did remember a lot of guitar. Yeah.
This scene is totally improvised.
Okay, so they both do the improvising, or it's just...
Yeah, they have an idea of what the scenario is. So basically, they're arguing about. Say, for example, they'll be told before filming, "You're arguing about her birthday," and they'll basically just start a conversation and just bullshit their way through it.
It's just a bunch of whose lines it anyway skits.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, except the points do matter on this. Do you get it, Steve?
Wow, and there's the guitar.
Yeah, exactly. See what I mean? It's like so much rock. Now, something this film does wrong is have Terrence Howard in it, because I fucking hate Terrence Howard. That's all. Yeah, he
and who is Terrence
Jim
Howard?
Rhodes, who is the guy on the plane there. Okay. I think he was miscast. And he basically thought he didn't get enough money, so he was booted off, and they got Don Cheadle in, who is now Jim Rhodes. I will say, I think he does a good job.
They replaced the actor?
Yeah, don't you? You've seen the other films,
how little I know. I didn't even know it was a different guy. I didn't even know they switched out the actor. I thought it was the same guy.
They look totally different. Oh my god. But we'll be doing all the films in time, so you'll see it next in Iron Man 2.
Okay. Oh, actually, now I come to think of it, he is a little different.
Yeah. Did you look up a picture just now? I thought
that would kill our Skype commentator.
I thought you just looked up a picture just then, just to like save yourself some embarrassment.
No, I just looked at him and I remember him looking like.
I love that. So I'm not going to get drunk. Now, I mentioned how earlier this is basically an indie film with like no effects budget. The reason the effects are so good is because it has Stan Winston in it. Fucking Stan Winston. Now, if you don't know who that is, he is the guy who created the effects for Terminator, Predator. Basically, every huge science fiction film from like the 80s and 90s, Stan Winston had a hand in making it. He's the reason why the Iron Man suit looks so fantastic. And unfortunately, this was the last film he did before he died. He was an absolute legend.
At least he gave something great to the world.
Yeah, he was
a lot of good things to the world.
I think he did. Oh no, he didn't do that. That was someone else. I was thinking of a film. This scene was also totally improvised. Like basically, I think on the special features, they said, "Okay, Robert, in this scene, you're going to be describing a missile you're selling to this military or whatever," and they just they said action, and he just basically spoke for like 5 minutes.
That is pretty amazing.
I remember this whole exchange from the trailer, and it made me fucking piss myself laughing.
I don't really remember the trailer, but it was about this.
Yeah, they showed this, and it opened with him going, "Is it better to be feared or respected? Why can't it be both?" And it cuts to him getting kidnapped and all of that. But that line had me piss myself laughing. It was kind of like, I mentioned before how weird a choice it was for like Iron Man as a character, but like, it's kind of funny to me how he's become this huge kind of thing now. He is basically the Marvel poster boy.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. He just went from obscure to just completely dominating everyone else.
He's about as big as Spider-Man, which is really funny to me. And it's kind of funny how, like, I don't know if you think this is ironic, but Iron Man has had several failed attempts to become a film. One particular one, as with Tom Cruise was going to be Tony Stark. Yeah, no thanks. I don't think Tom Cruise would fit this at all. Actually, do you want to know another really bad example of poor casting in superhero films? This one cracks me up. In the 90s, Tim Burton was hired to direct a Superman film called Superman Lives. Would you like to know who was going to be Superman?
Okay, well, I'm more curious about Tim Burton directing Superman, but who's going to be Superman?
Nicolas Cage.
What?
Yes, there's a picture online. I will find it and send it to you after we've done this. It is fucking hilarious. It is Nick Cage in a Superman outfit with really long hair.
Okay, we should put that clip into the commentary too.
It's not a clip, it's just a picture. I'll put it over the screen now. It's really awful. I love the lighting in this scene. That is all. Oh, that's so awful.
That makes me cringe every time I say that.
I think if you do that in real life, you could pull your own fucking face off. Don't quote me on that, though. I've never seen anyone actually do that.
Do not try this at home, kids. Oh, what's this guy's name again?
Yensid.
Yensid.
No, that's the magician from Fantasia.
Wait.
So.
I realized it like a second afterwards.
No, I legitimately thought his name was Yensid.
I can just imagine that.
Mickey. Oh, what is his name actually?
It begins with a Y, I know that.
If it is Yensid, I swear to God, I'm going to laugh so fucking hard. He's going to say it in a second anyway. He actually makes a cameo in Iron Man 3. Did you know that?
I don't know that because he's supposed to be dead, so how does he make a cameo?
Okay, he says in the line, "I met you in a conference in Switzerland." In Iron Man 3, the film opens with that conference and you see him.
Okay.
That is a really nice touch. That's something I legitimately like about Iron Man 3.
So it's sort of like a retroactive cameo.
Yeah. It's really funny as well because like, he walks up to I'll call him Yensid. He walks up to Yensid and he basically says, I know who you are, but I don't want to talk to you," and he just walks off.
And that's pretty ironic in hindsight.
Yeah.
It'd be great if he woke up and he just like said the exact same thing to him.
Yeah.
And left him to die.
Has he said what his name is yet? I haven't got any subtitles.
I'm not even listening anymore.
I'll look up the cast list quick.
You know, it's not really that important. I was just curious.
It's important to me.
Okay.
Another bit of trivia: the car that we saw him working on in his garage is actually owned by Jon Favreau, and he ruined the car.
Not for the sake of art.
Yinsen.
Okay, to be fair, that is pretty close.
Yensid. I can't believe I said that. Oh my god.
I can't believe I was just like, oh, Yensid. Okay, of course.
This terrorist guy eats the scenery like Jeff Bridges.
kind of
think
weird. Terrorists aren't usually that hammy characters.
I think that's Tom Morello on the right. Like, as I said, he's definitely a terrorist. I just don't remember which one. It's either in this scene or in a later scene. All I know is that he's killing in the name of. Do you get it?
Yeah.
That's a Rage Against the Machine song.
Okay, I was just watching this, but yeah.
Okay. And a piece of trivia for this. This is kind of a hint, but also kind of disappointing in retrospective. The terrorist group that has kidnapped Tony is called the Ten Rings, which is a reference to the Mandarin.
Yes.
Well, it's kind of disappointing because it makes you think there's going to be a really cool Mandarin. You get to Iron Man 3 and you realise it's fucking Guy Pearce! Sorry,
Okay.
I'm really angry about that. I'm never going to get over that.
Sorry, but I'm not a comic book fan, so I can't really care about that.
Okay, let me put it this way. Tony Stark in the comics, he was created as the face of capitalism, basically. Because in the 1960s, as Americans will well know, there was the Cold War, and if you were a communist, you were bad. If your capitalism good, yeah, blah, all of that jazz. And basically, the Mandarin was created as the communist ideal, is what Stanley thought communism was basically as a person. And the Mandarin is Tony Stark's arch enemy. One, because he is a magic user, and Tony Stark is a user of technology, so they work against each other like that. And communism, capitalism, yada, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so we're going to replace that inherently built-in rivalry with fucking Guy Pearce not liking Tony Stark because he left him on a rooftop at fucking midnight. He is Tony fucking Stark. He's the Hugh Hefner of... Okay, I'm getting too angry about this for something that happens in 2 films' time.
Wait, basically, so Iron Man was like a political comic?
Not really, but like the point
influenced.
of it... Yeah, the point of it was definitely political. It wasn't written to say communism is bad. It was just kind of... Okay, the best way I can think about it is because it was such the norm at the time that communism was evil and all of this. There wasn't really a point in kind of going away from that ideal, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Except that the kind of the way that the X-Men are were kind of written as a kind of civil rights kind of comic because of the characters they were. Tony Stark is that for capitalism, basically.
Okay.
That's something I really like about Marvel comics as a whole, is that they're not in a way they're not really superheroes. With DC, someone like Batman, he's Bruce Wayne and Batman. When he puts on the costume, he's Batman, full stop. And when he takes it off, he's Bruce Wayne. With someone like Spider-Man, he's just kind of always Spider-Man. He's not putting on an identity. He's still Peter Parker, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's a message I really like about Iron Man 3. It was like, he's not Iron Man when he puts on the armor. He's Iron Man even with it off. Tony Stark is Iron Man. Iron Man isn't the armor. That's something I really like about these films. It's kind of what the Iron Man trilogy is about. You know, what is the superhero, the man or the armor? It's kind of a question that a lot of comics aim for, but it's not something that a lot of films have done.
Actually, yeah, I remember the first time I saw this, and he was just at the end. He was just like, "Yep, I'm Iron Man." I was like, "What the fuck?"
I love that so much because that was, again, like I said about Samuel L. Jackson's cameo, that was filmed with basically nobody knowing the context of it, and apparently Robert Downey Jr. just went, well, Tony Stark wouldn't hide from the world. He'd say it, wouldn't he? He's that kind of person that he just would. He's so confident in himself that he doesn't give a shit about any enemies because he thinks he can take them. I love that. That's just understanding that character. Now, in the comics, he never did that. In the comics, he had the bullshit argument. This is bullshit. I don't care what any comic enthusiast said. Tony Stark had a bodyguard called Iron Man, and Iron Man happens to be there when Tony Stark disappears. So that kind of gave him an excuse to get in the armor and fight bad guys with nobody knowing who he was.
That's convenient.
That's bullshit.
No one ever figures this out.
Exactly. I think they only made his identity public a couple of years ago, but it was kind of, it makes the film got it right. You know, he is that character. Why would he hide?
It's kind of like a Peter Parker just being the friend of Spider-Man. He lets take pictures of.
Yeah, exactly. That's I remember there's a joke in Spectacular Spider-Man. I don't know if you've seen that cartoon. I fucking love that cartoon. There's a joke in it when Eddie Brock says to Peter Parker, "How?" it was something like, "How do you just keep getting these really great pictures of Spider-Man?" Like trying to imply that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, and Peter Parker just goes, "I pay him lots of money, and he lets me take pictures of him." And then Eddie Brock's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, it's like that, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I love that joke. Now, one of the things I remember about this film coming out, I'm going to be honest, it's kind of like, well, I remember when the trailer came out, nobody kind of knew what to expect. All we knew was that Robert Downey Jr. was playing a superhero. This was kind of a casting that nobody really saw coming, and to kind of clarify what I mean, this came out the same year as Hellboy 2 and The Dark Knight, two of the other greatest superhero films ever made. Nobody really knew what to expect from Iron Man, and the marketing was quite shielded about what was about it. Now, the only reason...
because they didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, nobody really knew. And, yeah, like I said, because it was rushed, they were still kind of filming it before it was going to come out. So, like, 2 weeks before it has come out, they were still editing it. That's not how you schedule something like that. You allow yourself more time. But, like, this basically made a shitload of money on word of mouth. Do you know how rare that is?
Very.
It's like, it's kind of strange to me. Like, if this had bombed, that would have been it. There would have been no MCU, and that kind of would have been it for... excuse me. That kind of would have been it for Robert Downey Jr.
It's kind of depressing to think about.
What a world that would have been. Now, it's kind of like its own little success story, and, like, say what you will about modern Marvel films, they've kind of hit their niche, and I don't know, they've never been as fresh as the first Iron Man. Would you agree?
Well, I would agree, because just because it's such a new thing at the time.
I mean, like, it came out the same year as The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight is my favourite film of all time, but I have more fun watching Iron Man. I have fun watching this film. Like, I love The Dark Knight. I fucking adore The Dark Knight. But, I don't know, I would rather watch Iron Man.
Well, I think the main reason for that, for me, is just because Tony Stark is a more fun character. Yeah,
that's exactly it. I love this track. It's so good. Just this whole... There's something I really like. Just this whole build-up to him putting the suit on.
Yes, the rushing development of the suit, just like the rushed development of the film. How fitting.
Sick burn. I was talking about him burning his hand on that.
Yeah.
I love how they're like, this doesn't look like a missile. No fucking shit. I mean, like, I can accept a lot because it is a comic book film, but I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that they were looking at that and didn't know it was. I mean, like, look, that's clearly not a fucking missile. It's it's the leg brace from The Dark Knight Rises.
Well, to be fair, they did kind of clue them in a little.
Another thing about this film is, like, the context it was made. Like, in the original comic, he wasn't kidnapped by terrorists. It was more kind of communists, I guess. Like,
of course.
Again, contextually that made sense. But, like, it wasn't Iraqi terrorists. And I kind of like that change, because it kind of, like... It kind of makes the context a bit more personal. Like...
And more relevant.
Like, in the original comic, he was blown up by a kind of bomb his company made, but it wasn't really I guess the film has made it much more kind of ironic, I guess. That like, the terrorists are being financed directly by Stark Industries and like given weapons by them. I don't know, I kind of I definitely think this is a better origin, just because it's more... I mean, like, can you imagine if the backstory was changed to the communists attacked?
That'd be a little odd, yes.
Yeah. I found a bit of trivia that I didn't actually know. This is what I was talking about before we started recording.
Okay.
When Jon Favreau and Gwyneth Paltrow... Basically, Jon Favreau got Gwyneth Paltrow first. She was the first person confirmed to be in the film. They went, if we don't get Robert Downey Jr., we're not doing it, because we can't have anyone else but him. And
Which is a good point.
when they got him in a meeting and basically said, will you do it? And Robert Downey Jr. just went, absolutely no hesitation, just went, yeah, I want to do this. Apparently everyone in the room started crying because they were so happy and knew they were going to make a good film.
Oh, that's a nice story.
I like that, and it kind of like, I know Robert Downey Jr. seems a little bit sick of Iron Man now. I mean, he's been playing the character nearly 10 years. I kind of get that.
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of cool to see like how big a difference this film made in his life. You know, he was on the way out. He'd been in so many box office bombs. You know, he was in a lot of scandals. You know, drug abuse, all of this stuff.
It almost comes off as a little ungrateful, but I can understand.
Well, what do you mean ungrateful?
That Iron Man basically saved his career, and now he's sick of it.
No, you have to put it in context that people see him as Iron Man now, and it's kind of harder for him to do other things.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of like with Star Wars and all those actors who can no longer.
It's like it's like Harrison Ford absolutely fucking hates talking about Star Wars. I get that. I totally get that, and I know I'm saying this from a perspective of someone who doesn't really like Star Wars that much. Yeah, I'll hand him my nerd card. Sorry, it sucks. And
okay, well, to clarify, I can barely hear you over this track right now.
Really?
Yeah. Afraid I can't really lower this anymore. Oh, there we go.
I said Star Wars sucks, basically.
Oh.
Like.
Okay.
I totally get why that someone like Robert Downey Jr. would get sick of it. You also have to look at it from a perspective of he's not a fan of the character as other people are. He didn't grow up reading these comics. He openly admitted that he didn't.
Yeah, well, neither did 99% of the world.
Yeah. I actually did buy a few volumes of the comic after watching this. Like I have Armor Wars, Demon in a Bottle. Demon in a Bottle is actually the most famous Iron Man story. Basically, in the 80s and 90s, Tony Stark was an alcoholic. And the story where he conquers his alcoholism is called Demon in a Bottle. It's not the best story ever, I'm going to be honest. It's a little bit cheesy.
It sounds like it.
And the bit when he conquers his alcoholism is so, like, hilariously over the top. He basically... He kind of like finds Jesus in a really like weird way,
in a bottle.
like not like he finds religion, but the moment he does it is so it's so much like a I found Jesus moment. It's funny, but like elements of that story have been used a lot, like especially in Iron Man 2. Just that whole kind of him eroding as a person. Is basically all from Demon in a Bottle, and that is a story that I don't think will ever be filmed. Because like it's kind of pointless, and it's a little bit. I think that'll be a little bit too hard for someone like Robert Downey Jr. to do. Not as an offense to him, but like he isn't that person anymore.
Yeah. See you, man. So how big of a fan were you of Iron Man before this?
Sorry?
How big of a fan of Iron Man were you before this? As comics go.
I had, like I said, I had single issues of the comic. Like, one that I remember is him wearing when he had his Silver Centurion armor, which is basically a silver and red variant of the armor, and he fights alongside the Grey Hulk. I love that comic so much. Like it has one of my favourite lines in any comic. Basically, him and Iron Man are fighting alongside each other, and you know, the Grey Hulk has this really like kind of gangster persona.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, they're fighting alongside each other, and like the back and forth between the two of them is so fucking funny.
I didn't know there was a Grey Hulk, but that's interesting.
The Grey Hulk is basically a thing they did with the Hulk for a time is make facets of Bruce Banner's personality come to life as Hulk characters. So like the Green Hulk is basically the id monster. Do you know what the id is?
Okay, well, wasn't there also a Red Hulk?
Yeah, do you know what the id is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's basically the Green Hulk. The Grey Hulk is his animal urges, like drinking, power, lust, all of this.
Yeah.
Is basically the Grey Hulk.
Well, isn't that what the id is, though?
No, I get... Okay, to elaborate, the Green Hulk is more base urges, which is the id. And the Grey Hulk is more kind of the base urges, but with a bit more cunning to them. I guess is the best way to kind of explain it.
Not really the superego.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly not that. But the Red Hulk is not Bruce Banner. That is someone totally different.
I never aware of that.
I fucking hate that story arc, by the way. The Red Hulk story is fucking awful.
Okay. So I have to wonder, so how many other colors of the Hulk are there?
I just want to point out, back to the film, why were they shooting in a room with missiles in them?
Because they're very stupid terrorists. I think that's been established.
I think one of them was Tom Morello, and thus Tom Morello's music career ended. Sorry, what was your question?
I didn't have a question. I said they were shooting a room full of missiles because they're very stupid terrorists.
Oh, I thought you were asking me something about the Hulk. Okay.
Oh, I did. I was asking how many colors of the Hulk there are.
About 4.
Okay, so there's green, red, gray, and what else?
There's I shit you not, this actually happened. There's green, red. There's a blue Hulk, who is Rick Jones. That story is fucking awful.
Okay.
There is a kind of greeny grey Hulk who's an amalgamation of Bruce Banner, the Grey Hulk, and the Green Hulk. It's very weird.
I honestly thought you were gonna say like a Rainbow Hulk, the Gay Pride Hulk.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. Hulk have feelings too.
Hulk deserves to marry like any other man.
No, this is something this is something I thought they translate. I love that joke. I love that. This is something I thought they translated really well. Is the look of the Mark 1. To me, this is pretty much exactly what it looks like in the comic.
What I find kind of interesting is how, like, throughout the film, Tony kind of struggles to use the suit. He's still, like, getting used to it.
I was just going to say, the Mark 1 in the comics is he actually used this suit to fight crime for a little bit, was a grey kind of knight-looking armour thing, which is basically this thing. Then he switched to the gold armour, which is referenced later. Then he switched to the famous yellow and gold.
Oh no, poor Yen Sid.
Tell Mickey I love him. Blair.
Oh, I think Tony Stark is Mickey in this scenario. That is a weird comparison to make. You never see that anywhere else.
I'm Iron Man. Oh, hi, Pluto.
I'm not even gonna try to make my voice that high.
I can't. That really hurt me to do that.
Okay, it would hurt me a lot worse. And over this touching scene, we make jokes about Mickey.
Leave me. I sound like Splinter from the Ninja Turtles.
His final words.
Oh, you're fucked now.
You don't fuck with Splinter.
Apart from the Michael Bay film, I fucking hate that Splinter.
I don't have no desire to see that.
Do not watch it. It's a fucking waste of time. I watched it for my own amusement. I found none.
Oh, you found amusement? Well, that's good at least.
I found none.
Oh, okay, you found none. Never mind.
My turn. Flame on.
I love how he just whips out flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Like, he expects him to shoot guns back? Nope.
I kind of like this is kind of like a weird kind of compliment. The way that guy flew back, like, this is the most realistic I've ever seen flamethrowers. They do actually go that far. I mean, like in a non-war film. How does that hurt him, but the other bullets don't? And how has nobody hit him in the eyes?
Action movie logic.
Avengers logic.
I mean, action movie logic combined with comic book movie logic, it makes him pretty much immortal.
Now, actually, for a bit of trivia, Obadiah Stane, yeah, it's a spoiler, he becomes the villain later on. He was actually going to be the villain of the second film, and the Mandarin was going to be the main villain of the first film.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
But they changed it because Jon Favreau, he couldn't figure out how to kind of work in a connection for Tony and the Mandarin, which is fair enough.
Okay, by the way, I just muted the film right there because it was so goddamn loud.
What is it? Is it really that loud?
No, it was right then.
Okay.
With all the explosions and the music. I just love that image of him just flopping around in the sand.
The effect of that is basically they dug a massive hole, he stood in it, and they filled the hole in again.
So it's like kids playing on the beach and burying themselves.
Guys,
except on a professional level.
Guys, we're trying to film Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. just flopping about in the sand like, guys!
It'd be funny if they just like left him buried there for a while. Wouldn't have lunch
He
break.
just walks onto the set of November Rain by Guns N' Roses. I love the way he's like, hey, guys! This line by Terrence Howard is so ironic, it makes me laugh so much. You ride with me next time. You're not in the next film. Now get me a cheeseburger, best buddy. On with the trivia train. Obadiah Stane in the comic books, I know I said I didn't know his backstory, I've just found it now. He actually ran a rival company called Stane International. Was actually a business rival, not a kind of friend to Tony.
Yeah, the funny thing is I actually knew that.
Oh, okay.
So I knew something about comics that you didn't. That's amazing.
Oh, okay. You could have spoke up, but you know you didn't.
I was going to say it before we were first talking about Stane, but then we got sidetracked.
Okay, here's something you might not know, Dick. Iron Man is based on Howard Hughes, who is a famous kind of business mogul and kind of like airplane inventor, not creator. He was also a massively eccentric man. He once slept in his own movie studio for a month, eating nothing but popcorn and candy floss.
Okay, I did not know that.
And he watched the film Sub-Zero 138 times.
And is this why his father was named Howard? Yeah, well, is it?
I don't know.
Well, okay, it seems like logical to me, but...
I don't think Tony Stark ever sat in his own movie theatre for a month, though. The weirdest thing about that story about Howard Hughes sleeping in the movie theatre... What? Oh, yeah.
Placement.
The weirdest thing about that story is about he booted the cleaners out when they tried to come in and clean the studio, because obviously, having slept in there for a month, a man needs to do what a man needs to do. And here's Phil Coulson, played by Clark Gregg, the only role that Clark Gregg is ever going to be known for.
Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't know the actor's name, so...
He is Agent Phil Coulson, and he has appeared the most in every single Marvel film, more than anyone else.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Yep, to put it on his CV, I've only played one character in my entire life.
Wait, what, he said this?
No.
But, a funny quote.
No, but he has only ever played, from what I know, he's only ever played Phil Coulson. This whole scene, again, totally improvised. He said to all of these extras, let's all sit down, basically. And Robert Downey Jr. basically said the reason why they did this, what he thought of this for this scene, basically, was because he knew they'd have to stand up through all the retakes. So he just said, I want to make them all comfortable. Again, lad. Oh, by the way, another piece of trivia for Robert Downey Jr. If you think he's a bit... From what I said, I know I said he was sick of the character. If you want to know how much of a lad Robert Downey Jr. is, he took a huge pay cut so everyone in the Avengers got equal pay. What a lad. And so the film could basically be made.
Wow, so before that he was going to get a bigger pay cut?
Yeah, he was basically going to get like a good 70% of the kind of the actor's kind of check, I guess is the best way to say it, because his lawyers argued that if the film made a lot of money, it was due to his kind of star power, and he basically thought, okay, no, that's bullshit. This is a team. We're a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To be fair, they weren't entirely wrong,
that.
But...
No, I will be honest. Robert Downey Jr. is probably the reason why the Marvel films are so successful. But to say that and to kind of is kind of a good example of his kind of like just his ladness, I guess.
His ladness, yes. I said ladness.
The best thing I just read about Jeff Bridges, Jeff Bridges is well known for playing the dude in The Big Lebowski, and for usually having very long hair and a huge beard.
Oh, okay. I thought you couldn't remember his name for a second, so you just called him the dude.
No, that's his character.
Yeah, the dude. Yeah.
By the way, Jeff Bridges' idea. That was Jeff Bridges' idea to ride a Segway into that. But his reasoning was, I've always wanted to ride a Segway. No other reason besides that.
I kind of want to ride one too, to be honest.
That was also his reasoning for shaving his head, for growing a goatee, is because he'd always wanted to.
He wanted to shave his head or have a goatee?
Both.
Oh, okay.
That apparently is that's the only reason his character has this, because he wanted to do it.
So he looks completely different in the comics, is what you're saying?
I can't remember what he looks like in the comics, to be fair.
Okay.
Now, in the comics, bit of trivia here, Pepper Potts is a character in the comic, obviously, and so is Happy Hogan. But the romance between Pepper and Tony is absolutely non-existent. The romance is instead reserved for Happy Hogan and Pepper Potts. They have a romance, not Tony and Pepper. I don't know why they changed that, to be fair.
Well, because Hollywood and the main character deserves the woman more.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I like the idea more of Tony being a bachelor. It's just so much funnier to me. Like I kind
of want to see what a relationship between Potts and Hogan would be like in the films.
Hulk Hogan. All the little Hulks just know. Yeah. Steve, Tony's getting naked in the lab again. His face when he's doing his shirt back, he's like, "This is mine." The cigar as well. I love it. I love that. Something I love about Jeff Bridges, he's absolutely having a fucking blast doing this. Like, he's doing it for no reason besides to amuse himself.
So I just realized I haven't been able to hear any of the dialogue in this entire film so far.
Neither have I. I've literally the only thing I can hear is my own voice and your voice.
Yeah, I can only hear the soundtrack. For a second, I thought something was wrong with Skype for a second. I turned it off and I was like, oh no, it's still playing.
Nah.
I love this little scene.
Yeah.
You know who plays that guy?
I have no idea who
plays. A lot of fun.
Wouldn't you? I would love to play that. This is a weapon company that doesn't make weapons. That photo there of Tony is actually a promo shot from the film.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
Yeah, I love that as well because it's kind of like a really meta joke. Oh, by the way, if you look at the code she put in, if you look at it backwards, the date of the first Iron Man comic.
Okay, that's a really nice touch.
Yeah, stuff like that I love. This is a weird scene because to me, if you look at the way Tony's body is, it's very unnatural. It does that. I'm sorry, you can clearly see that is not his body. They've basically Robert Downey Jr. is standing behind a mold with so it looks like she can put her hand into his chest. That's quite clearly what it is, and his body looks so strange to me that I can just notice it every single time.
It does look a little weird now that you mention it.
This scene, I absolutely adore this scene. It's so adorable as well. Like just like that bit when he's like, "Oh, I'm going to cardiac arrest," and like the way he says it. Again, this scene is totally improvised. I think I just read.
For the record, what scenes aren't improvised?
It's mostly the scene. It's mostly the non-dialogue scenes. So like okay, let me rephrase that.
Well, I'd imagine you can't like improvise a fight scene.
No, the scenes that are kind of between two or more characters are improvised. Like, okay, this scene here is clearly improvised. The scene, like for example, the scenes that have loads of extras in aren't improvised. They can't be, because you can't predetermine how a bunch of people are going to react to something. It's mostly the scenes between Tony and Pepper, really.
Yeah, I forgot how gross all this is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going into cardiac arrest.
Yeah, Pepper's such an adorable character.
Yeah. Oh, I just read Hugh Jackman was apparently offered the role of Tony Stark. That would have been weird. He would have been both Wolverine and Tony Stark.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it is kind of weird.
Yeah. It is laugh. Imagine if she lost. Yeah. Imagine if he lost. If she lost her ring in there.
Imagine if she actually killed him.
Now you may be wondering, Harry and Steve, you're two talented and really clever guys. Why is Robert Downey Jr., for a man who has spent decades abusing himself, why is he in such good shape? Well, the answer to that question is he trained for 6 months with a martial artist to get himself into shape.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because he wanted to try and kind of physically recreate the kind of body that a lot of comic book characters have, which is kind of ironic because Iron Man isn't a physically imposing character. He's not he's not Captain America who's Mr. Muscles.
Yeah, and then that's kind of the idea because he has the suit doing all the muscle for him.
Well, one of my favourite things about this is ironically, like, this is really bad. In one of the Ultimates comics that has Tony Stark in it, he's drawn huge as fuck, but in the next issue he's really tiny. It makes no fucking sense and it's fucking hilarious.
Tony Stark does steroids. Imagine an arc where he wants to be like more traditional superheroes, so he starts pumping himself up.
I said about the Mandarin is basically a kind of communist villain. I actually have a list here of the other Iron Man villains. See if you notice a kind of running joke between all of them. It's very obvious. Okay. Fing Fang Foom, I shit you not, that's one of his villains. Who he's basically a huge dragon, and his name is very suspiciously Chinese. Now, why would it be Chinese? Everyone is asking. Well, basically,
I think everyone knows.
Well, basically, because China is communist. The next one is Crimson Dynamo, who is Russian.
Oh, God.
Now, yeah, exactly. All of his villains are like either Russian, Chinese, or other business kind of rivals.
This wasn't a political comic?
I swear to God. One of my favourite things is Fing Fang Foom is a giant dragon. He's Puff the Magic Dragon, pretty much.
It's the most ridiculous name for a dragon.
Whiplash, who is another villain of Iron Man, who we'll be seeing in the second film, is also Russian. Although he doesn't have the same backstory.
Well, he's not really a communist, though, right? He's just kind of Russian.
No, that was kind of the point, though. Like, they were trying to kind of trying to create that correlation of Russian equals bad guy, I guess. Which is a little bit stupid.
Trying to make that correlation like it's so difficult.
Yeah. Remember, in a few years we'll be able to have this technology. and it will be awesome.
That's pretty amazing to think about.
In about 10 years, that's how I'll be updating my YouTube channel. Oh no, I want that so bad in the future. That would be so cool. Now, I mentioned earlier
like the first 20 years just be for the rich people.
Don't even joke.
I'm not.
Nah, I never joke. I mentioned earlier about Stan Winston. Oh, he's getting all the sand in the wound.
Yeah.
Okay, I mentioned earlier Stan Winston. Now, I said that him and his company designed the Iron Man suit. They also designed the Ironmonger suit. Yeah, that suit at the end, it's not CG. That is a real suit.
I didn't think it was CG, actually.
Well, I guess in the more over-the-top action scenes, it is CG, but most of the time when it's standing still, that is actually Jeff Bridges in the huge Ironmonger suit. I find it very hard to believe that the film had budget issues when you see stuff like this. Remember, this was a huge summer blockbuster. I don't get why people... It is an indie film, don't get me wrong. By definition, it is an indie film. Marvel was an indie company when they made it. But the amount of money they kind of threw at it was pretty unbelievable. They completely self-financed it, which is kind of, for a mainstream kind of like movie... Okay, let's take something like the Transformers films by Michael Bay. They are not completely self-financed by Paramount. All of the product placement contribute to it because they want to have their stuff in it. That's why a lot of films have so much product placement. The Burger King one earlier is totally coincidental, I think, and wasn't really meant to be there.
I just had to be eating a burger, so Burger King.
I fucking love this joke.
Oh, yeah.
Wait for it. I love that. That absolutely never gets old, that joke. My favourite thing is in every scene he gets progressively more injured. Like there he's got a cut on his forehead, and then the next one he's got like an ice pack.
It's just like I was saying before, it takes him a little while to get used to it.
And there's a lot of nice visual Easter eggs in these scenes. Like on the back there, we saw a propeller for an airplane, which again is a reference to the Howard Hughes kind of inspiration. I like to think that Robert Downey Jr. has an Iron Man suit in his house somewhere. I do really want that to be a thing, but I know it isn't. He's not really that sort of person, I guess.
Which is so,
but let's be
hard
honest.
to believe when you see him in so many of these films.
Let's be honest. Would you not kill for an Iron Man suit?
just
I
to
would
have it.
kill. I would kill for it, even if it didn't actually fly or anything. Just to have it would be awesome.
Well, no, if I could find stuff, I won't want you to be Iron Man.
I am Iron Man.
Damn it, Steve, you have that Iron Man suit. Go out and fight crime or something.
Fuck you! I'm just going to stand in and look myself in the mirror. Actually, I mentioned Crimson Dynamo. He was another kind of rejected villain for this film. Again, that kind of thing of it's going to be too cluttered. It needs to be more simple.
Yeah, so Spider-Man 3 need to learn.
And actually, ironically, Amazing Spider-Man 2 needs to learn. Spider-Man has too many cluttered stories. Can I just say, I'm really hungry right now, and that pizza is making me really hungry. It's making me more hungry.
I'm really hungry.
You ate before we did this.
I didn't eat too much.
I've eaten nothing.
Well, maybe you should have learned from my example.
He forces me to do this, people. I can't leave until we finished Iron Man. By the way, that pizza that Tony Stark has, that is the scenery that Jeff Bridges keeps eating. I thought it was a bald cap the first time I saw that, because the way his head is shaped, it looks like a bald cap.
I can see why you think that. Yeah.
Here, take your pizza. Oh god, that looks so good. Stop showing me it. I can't look anymore.
There we go. It's gone.
This track I absolutely love. This kind of build up, again, the build up to him wearing the suit.
It is pretty amazing. We're about halfway through the film and he hasn't even actually worn the suit yet.
But I think that's a strength because, again, no, I'm not saying you think the film's shit. I'm just saying a lot of people use that as a criticism. Like it's got good action. It's had some good action scenes, but it's building that character, and I like that. I love this joke, he says. Please stop following me around. I think this was improvised as well. Like his not the movements, his lines more.
See, I wouldn't be surprised because, like I said, Tony Stark just sounds like everything he's saying is improvised.
Yeah. I know we said about sorry, not Tony Stark. I know we said Robert Downey Jr. doesn't keep Iron Man armor. I just looked up a bit.
Tony Stark does.
Yeah, I kept
he
up.
Doesn't anymore.
I kept up. Well, he still does. I kept looked at a bit of trivia. Apparently, Robert Downey Jr. in some scenes would wear the Iron Man armor when he wasn't filming, like to kind of.
Maybe he just like walks around on the set in the suit.
I'm Iron Man. Yeah, I'm like he wouldn't answer to any other name but Iron Man. but apparently just to kind of get a feel for it when he actually did have to wear it. It reminds me a lot of that story about Christian Bale when he would wear the first Batsuit in Batman Begins. He said it was fucking uncomfortable. Okay. So I was waiting for that joke. Yeah, I could fly. Basically, he would wear the Batman suit, and he said it was so uncomfortable. It gave him the rage he needed to be Batman. So, like, that kind of Batman voice that he does is apparently a product of wearing that really uncomfortable suit.
Part of his rage.
Yeah.
I can just imagine him in the Iron Man suit just, like, ordering a drive-thru or something.
Jarvis! Where are the other Avengers going? That hurt my voice so much. Would you like
surprised with that? I'm Iron Man.
No, surely you mean I'm Iron Man.
Oh, are you talking about like Christian Bale in the Iron Man suit?
Can you imagine Christian Bale as Tony Stark?
Christian Bale. Yes. Or imagine if they just completely switched roles.
Oh my god, no!
Robert Downey Jr. is Batman.
I'm Batman. It's like, sir, you can't get.
Really similar characters. That's the funny thing.
Sir, Gotham City doesn't need you. You've got to learn to run before you can walk, Alfred. He dies on his first night. This is my favourite track on the entire soundtrack. It's called Driving with the Top Down. Now, I remember when I first watched this scene, it fucking blew me away how fun it was. Would you agree?
I would agree. Yes, I remember this very well.
I mean, like, that's what I love about Iron Man. That kind of pose of him flying like that looks goofy as fuck. But, like, it's just, you grow to love it after a while.
And then just the way he's looking at it, all wide-eyed and happy.
Yeah.
Like a little kid in a candy store.
Actually,
my new toy.
I was talking at the very beginning about Nicolas Cage's Superman. But, but fucking kid.
That is the theme of this commentary.
That was my face, by the way. That little kid's face. That was my face watching this scene. Basically, Quentin Tarantino was hired to make an Iron Man film. I can't decide whether that would be amazing or fucking terrible.
It could easily be both.
And you'll know the height of irony. Joss Whedon was actually he asked Marvel if he could do an Iron Man film, and they turned him down. The irony of that, because he went on to do the Avengers.
Now, speaking of the height, he's getting too much height.
Free falling.
I was trying to think of another falling song. I couldn't.
A thong song?
A what?
A thong song? What'd you say?
I was trying to think of another falling song.
I thought you said a thong song. I was like, what the fuck?
A thong song is the kind of song Tony Stark would like.
I love this bit. Oh, did you see that poster on the top left then when he corrected himself?
No.
That was Fing Fang Foom. If you pause that, basically when he nearly hits the ground and boosts up, if you pause it, you can see a poster for Fing Fang Foom. There's a nice little in joke there.
I can't get over that name.
This is one of the best gags in the entire film. Oh fuck. His face as well. The stuff a thing I like about the Iron Man suit is that it kind of naturally looks pissed off.
He's kind of just designed in this really bored stoic fashion, like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, a bit of a continuity error, but when Pepper brought that coffee down, it was smoking hot. He designed the suit, and it's clearly a couple of hours later, and the coffee is still smoking hot. How?
It's very good coffee.
Proof that Tony Stark has a heart. He will later destroy that heart later, so he does not have a heart.
Oh, that's a little cruel irony right there. Meanwhile, with the dumbass terrorists. I think we're gonna do something.
Oh my god! I was looking at more IMDb trivia. You know, I said Nicolas Cage was going to play Superman.
Yeah.
He was going to play Iron Man as well. Oh my god!
You can imagine like Iron Man's going, "How to get burned?"
How does it fly? How's it fly? We should do The Wicker Man. I really want to watch that.
Well, have you never seen it before?
No, I have, but like...
I haven't seen it before. I've only seen the few really iconic scenes.
Like, you know that, I can imagine him being Iron Man and running up in an Iron Man suit and punching someone, like, in the bear suit. Oh my god, can you imagine that? But swap the bear suit with the Iron Man suit and him punching a terrorist in the face.
Like I said, that is the theme of this commentary. Just superheroes being in completely inappropriate roles. This is kind of ironic because, like you just said, he does this in real life. You don't forget the Iron Man suit. Just having that mask around would be kind of pretty awesome.
And there's your nice little comic book reference to the gold suit.
I actually didn't see it.
We didn't see it. It was on the screen.
Well, I know it was on the screen, but I wasn't looking at that part.
There you go. Look, if you look there.
Okay.
Yeah, it was gold. And there's your reference to the Silver Centurion one I mentioned earlier. One is red and silver.
Yeah.
That watch is worth about $2 billion. Not really.
What is it with rich people and their really expensive watches?
They need to tell the time.
Just needs to tell the time.
They need to tell the time, and they need to do it in an expensive way.
Watches don't even matter anymore. We have phones for that now.
In the time that I take to look at my watch, I have earned more money than it's worth.
Still looking for trivia, I assume?
That's exactly what I'm doing.
When you're just having a long pause like that, I just assume that's what you're doing.
The reporter, Christine Everhart, I haven't looked this up, I literally just remembered this. The reporter in this film, she actually made a cameo appearance for the Ant-Man viral marketing campaign. She actually interviewed Scott Lang, who is Paul Rudd's character, who's Ant-Man. She interviews him. I like that. That, like, for their viral marketing and like the behind the scenes stuff, they're really great at that.
Yeah, that's out now. I should say that.
I haven't seen it yet. Apparently, it's got a reference to Spider-Man in it.
Which Spider-Man? Just like Spider-Man in general?
Yeah, because remember the Sony Marvel thing was done during when it was filming, and they added that scene in later on. And Clark Gregg is hinting at the Shield stuff. We'll be seeing that come to fruition later as he continually gets ignored by Tony Stark.
Okay, so they did hint at it a little bit.
Yeah.
They weren't really sure where they were going to go with it. They kind of left it open.
Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow. You're attractive, but also incredibly pretentious.
In real life, or?
In real life.
Okay. Yeah, because Pepper Potts is not who I would call pretentious.
No. Apparently, Harry Gregson Williams was going to do the soundtrack, which is really odd because he also does the soundtracks for all the Metal Gear Solid games.
For some reason, perhaps it's because we were talking about Harry Potter before, I just imagined Daniel Radcliffe as Iron Man.
What? What the fuck? Why?
Everyone is Iron Man. That's what I'm getting at.
What the fuck? Have you? I don't know if you've seen Daniel Radcliffe interviewed, but he always sounds like he's on speed. Like, I'm not joking. Like, there's a British panel show called I nearly got it wrong then, called Have I Got News For You? And he was the host of it one time, and he kept talking like this all the time, just really really quickly like this, and just like this all the time. It was really fucking weird. It's like Harry Potter's pretty intense as a character, so like it was hard to like see him. It was like the first time I saw him out of character, and just to see him look like he was on speed was really strange. Oh my god! I've just read this bit of trivia that makes that Burger King thing you mentioned earlier make so much sense.
Okay.
Okay, I'll read it out to you. In an interview with Britain's Empire magazine, that's the thing I was talking about earlier, the cover, Robert Downey Jr. thanked Burger King for helping him get straight. With a car full of drugs, he had a burger that was so disgusting it made him rethink his life and dump the drugs in the ocean. He repeats this with impromptu sit-down session with the press upon his return from captivity. That's actually really good.
That's amazing.
Apparently that was his idea then, so that was cool.
Burger King is just his life.
Now, you know, I just saw this bit of trivia as well. Do you know at the beginning of the film when it says that Howard and I think Mary Stark died in a car crash?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen The Winter Soldier?
I know that part of it.
You know the thing I'm referencing?
I know what you're referencing.
Do you think that was good, or do you think that was dumb?
I mean, I didn't really care. I'd say I didn't mind it.
Because like I've read a lot of things online that say that's probably the film's biggest weakness. I don't get that personally because it's such a small part of the script, and like it. Apparently, people say it's such a stupid fucking retrospective thing. I mean, like, who cares? At the end of the day, it's a comic book film. They reboot stuff all the time.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I see it, it just adds a little more to the story.
Who took these pictures? Seriously, who took these pictures?
Well, I'm forgetting. What is the context that she's showing these pictures to him?
She's saying, basically, you know that scene earlier where he says we're not going to make weapons anymore.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she's telling him that weapons are being sold to the terrorists in that news story he was looking earlier, and it's showing that Obadiah Stane is going behind his back, basically.
All right.
And his whole board is against him, basically.
I wasn't sure when the official reveal of that was.
I bet that was his face when he was originally pitched the idea of Iron Man.
Fuck no.
What have I done? That was my face when I watched Iron Man 3, I'll be honest. Yeah, that sleuth pan out as well.
I thought there was just a Wii sitting there on the table.
I've never noticed that. What the fuck?
In his spare time, Tony Stark loves some Wii tennis.
No, he plays the Iron Man movie game on Wii.
I actually could really picture Tony Stark playing video games.
Have you played the Iron Man game?
No.
It's a fucking waste of time, don't bother.
Okay. So I'm curious. Do you know who plays Tony Stark in that game? Because
I think it's Roger Craig Smith, who's the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm not joking. Seriously.
Okay, so now Sonic the Hedgehog is Iron Man. Everyone is Iron Man. If you have a subtitle for this commentary, that is it. Everyone is Iron Man.
Everyone is Iron Man.
You're too slow, Whiplash.
Pepper can clean that up.
Who cares? I'm rich.
This suiting up sequence is so cool. This is actually I think this is a reference to the animated series, if I'm not mistaken. Have you seen the animated series?
For Iron Man, no.
It's shit, but
Okay.
it has like the second season of that TV show has the greatest opening I have ever seen. It's so awesome.
You said it's similar to this?
Yeah, like there's a sequence in the episode, one of the episodes, that's kind of like this. I remember when I watched this scene for the first time. As soon as the helmet goes over his face, I'm like, oh, it's Iron Man. Yeah, this bit. Oh my god, this is so cool. Actually getting goosebumps here. Fuck yeah. This is one of my favourite sequences in the entire film. And there he goes, breaking the sound barrier.
This is actually probably my favorite scene in the film.
Yeah, so awesome. Yeah, actually, I might say this is my favourite, actually. There's not a lot of scenes that kind of top it. It's kind of dark, actually, as well, when you really think about it.
Well, the beginning here more so, but still.
Do you think this is a bit too kind of heavy-handed? Do you think it's kind of, like this kind of subtext is a little bit weird in a comic book film?
I never really thought about it, to be perfectly honest.
No, I mean, like, if you really think about it, I mean, like, The Dark Knight is, well, dark, but, it doesn't really have a political, real-world context like this. I find it a bit strange sometimes. Like, none of the other Marvel films have it. None of the other Marvel films...
Like, if you're just, like, watching this randomly, you wouldn't immediately think, oh, this is Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, none of the other Marvel films have this kind of, like, this gritty, real-world stuff. I mean, like, this is fucking dark. They're going to execute this guy in front of his family. And earlier, Tony Stark was bouncing off the walls trying to adjust his Iron Man armour. Have we turned to a different film? This scene is... when he comes in, it's so fucking awesome, though. Oh, by the way, as a kind of like a nice joke, the voice coming out of the armour in a minute... Because, you know, he disguises his voice while he's in this scene.
Yeah.
It's set to it's made to sound like it is in the animated series.
I guess.
Basically, because in the animated series, they again use that shitty excuse of it's his bodyguard, and they just kind of went, oh, okay, we're not using it here, but it's kind of a nice reference.
Yeah, pretty weird how Iron Man's bodyguard is never seen around Tony Stark.
Yeah.
They said Iron Man's bodyguard.
I was hoping you'd say around Robert Downey Jr.'s bodyguard.
Funny if Robert Downey Jr. just had like a guy in an Iron Man suit following around.
Don't want to be pedantic, but this would kill somebody. That would definitely kill someone. You'd break their neck. That line reading of "He's all yours" is so sweet. I wish they'd use that voice a bit more, but they never will now. By the way, again, it's a comic book film. How the fuck did that tank hit him?
He's a good tank.
That look again, it's really great comedic stuff. The look on the look on the mask doesn't change, but he looks supremely pissed off now.
Well, just because the Iron Man suit always looks pissed off. It's like, god damn it. Fucking tank.
Yeah, cool guys never look at explosions. His mask reminds me a lot of Predator Vision.
Wait, the what?
The Predator Vision from Predator.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that?
A long time ago.
It's one of my favourite films. It's so goofy, I love it. That guy who was at the top of him there, he is the most intense military man ever. When he talks to Jim Rhodes in a minute, he's so intense. He's like, "Can I please get eyes on target?"
It's kind of. I just realized Rhodes doesn't really have much of a role in this film.
Hang on, is that the same shot from earlier, but just reversed? I swear to God that's the same shot. Again, they couldn't waste their effects budget.
Yeah, like I was saying, Rhodes doesn't really do much in this film, does he?
No, he's kind of useless, like Terrence Howard.
Before he's War Machine / Iron Patriot, yeah, he's kind of useless.
Don't call him Iron Patriot. That is dead to me. He's War Machine.
Well, see, I like using that name because it's hated in universe.
No! It's hated out of it as well. I fucking hate that name. It's stupid. By the way, a nice little in joke. In a minute, when Tony phones Rhodes from his Iron Man suit, the music that comes out of his phone is once again the 60s Iron Man theme.
Yeah, damn, they really love that series, huh?
Yeah. I'll be honest, I love it because of how bad it is. It's so fucking cheesy. Like, I swear to God, the opening lyrics are Tony Stark. He's a something of the heart of steel. I swear to God, those are the lyrics. Something.
A man of gold with a heart of steel or something.
Yeah, that's it. That's actually. I swear to God, those are the lyrics. A man of gold with a heart of steel. I swear to God, those are the lyrics.
Look this up.
I will in a second. I swear to God, those are the lyrics. Or one of them, anyway. I don't think it's the opening lyrics. By the way, again, a nice little in joke. The two Raptors are called Whiplash 1 and Whiplash 2.
Okay. Made a little more sense before the actual Whiplash came in, but it's cool.
Cool. They were closer to the comic than the actual fucking Whiplash at any rate. I hated that about Iron Man 2, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Do you want to do Incredible Hulk as well? Because I really want to do that.
Yeah.
I love Incredible Hulk, but everybody in the world hates it besides me.
Like the movie or the character?
The movie.
Okay, that's weird to me. I actually found the character a little dull, but I like the movie a lot.
You really think the Hulk's dull?
Well, he's a big, angry guy who smashes things.
Do you really think he's Dulk?
Dulk.
That music there that's playing now, that's the 60s. I mean, if you could hear it, if you can't, you know.
The uninteresting Dulk.
The uninspired Dulk.
The depressed sulk.
The miserable sulk. That guy is he's like, General Rhodes, are you on the phone?
How dare you?
It looks like a man, like an Iron Man. Do a barrel roll.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Oh, he's on
It's
a plane,
Iron
but
Man.
no, it's Iron Man.
It's Iron Man coming at you. This line again. When I said he was intense, it's this line that coming up that's so fucking over the top. How did he survive that?
He's a good pilot. This is my excuse for everything, by the way.
That moment when God, imagine how terrifying that is. You fall into the ground, but the chute isn't working.
Well, even if the chute was working, I'd be terrified. Fucking hate heights.
This line here, I got it so intense. You can tell he's giving his all. As the camera slowly zooms in on him, he gets more angry. Actually, we've been talking about the Samuel L. Jackson scene at the end. That's actually that wasn't improvised, but it was actually written by Brian Michael Bendis, who is the writer for the Ultimate Iron Man comic and the Ultimate Spider-Man one.
So many references. It is something I've heard about the MCU, that it is chock full of comic book references, as it should be.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I love this bit.
Yeah.
I might say this is the funniest Marvel film next to Guardians.
They said like Gargans for a second, but yeah.
Gargoyles.
It was the Marvel film.
That's actually a nice reference. In that scene, there's a chessboard in front of him, and he's playing with himself. In the comics, Obadiah Stane leads a group called the Chess Masters.
Okay, wait. So you knew he led a group called the Chess Masters, but you didn't know he was like a business rival?
Eat a dick, Steve.
This is amusing to watch.
Captain America's shield in the background on the left there. It's such a pointless reference because it doesn't mean anything. Why does he have it? That line is amazing, by the way. Let's face it, this isn't the worst thing you've caught me doing. Actually, one of the few scripted scenes between them.
Which is what, 2 lines, so.
And here's Two-Face, the Iraqi Two-Face. It's about what's fair! Rachel! God, they look like they're gonna kiss. I can't unsee that now. What's he done to you? You look like you've spilled jam on your face.
Just the way that Stane is just looking at him, just with this shit-eating grin.
Obadiah Stane. You've Obadiah stained your face.
Okay, that is the second worst pun that has come out of our commentaries.
When I say jam, I of course mean jelly for Americans.
Oh, makes sense either way, actually.
Can't get that Obadiah Stane. I'll keep saying it until it's funny.
It's not funny, it's poetic.
Jeff Bridges is looking at that. I'm like, how much more scenery can I eat? Can I eat metal? Can I eat people? Oh no, he's like putting his hand. He's like, I want to be inside this so bad. Why is he holding the glass at an angle? You're going to spill it all over yourself. By the way, this is my reaction when I first heard that twist in Iron Man 3. I swear to God. This is my reaction when I heard the new Rush album.
You know, I think he would have spilled the drink on himself for that. At that moment, he took the drink off him. I didn't notice that.
just tips it on him.
This is kind of a dick move. At least I have a drink first.
This was my reaction when I was asked if I could look at Ghost of Uruguay. How the fuck did they do that so silently?
They're very good mercenaries.
Not Solid Snake.
Who says?
That's a good point.
Obadiah Stane's a group of Solid Snake clones.
My voice gave out a bit at the end of that, so I was like, that's not the point! I like the way it goes through his shirt. Not his nipples, the art reactor.
Well, I didn't even notice his nipples, but thank you for pointing that out.
And now I can't unsee them. They're really scary in the 3D version.
Iron Man's iron nipples.
Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow. Attractive but pretentious. I've said that in every scene she's in.
I think it's the same time we said it.
He sounds... We was joking about him being Batman, but that sounds so much like Batman. Like, there is nothing but the mission.
Where is she?
I swear to God. Where are the other drugs going? I actually can't shout like that anymore because my voice is fucking killing me.
So how far have you gotten through that chocolate milk?
Too far, Steve. Too far.
Okay, because I'm almost down to the second bottle of water.
Really?
Yeah, now I really need to pee, but I'm not.
Just go where you are.
It's fun. I don't even do that in actual movie theaters. Like, if I have to pee, I just hold it for the whole thing, because I don't want to miss anything.
This is not a joke. This is actually what happened. The only time, if you've ever talked to me like you have in real life, you know that I love film and I see a lot of films. I've never in my life, I swear to God, gone to the toilet during a film. The only time I have ever done it was watching Iron Man 3. I didn't do it when watching Dragon Ball Evolution. If that is not an indication of Iron Man 3's quality, I don't know what is. Dragon Ball.
I'm trying to think of when I've ever done it. Wait, you actually went to see Dragon Ball Evolution in theaters?
Yes. I saw it the second day it was out. I'm not joking. The theatre was empty. Actually, that's a good point. That's a good question. Actually,
I really need to watch that.
You haven't seen Dragon Ball Evolution?
I have not seen Dragon Ball Evolution.
What are we doing watching this?
Well, you already did a commentary of Dragon Ball Evolution.
It's getting deleted, so we can. I want to film your reaction. No, we can do a second one. It's fine. You might actually get some views. Not salty at all. Actually, that's a good point. Have you ever walked out of a film?
No.
You've never ever walked out of a film, even like a really bad one?
I don't think I've ever really seen any films that I've really hated.
Really? What a great existence you live.
No, not in theaters, at least. To be fair.
Like the only time I've done it about 4 times in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. The first was a film my brother chose for me. Thank you, Ethan. It was a film called Space Chimps. He thought it was funny. Nobody else did. And next door, this was back in 2008, and Wall-E and The Dark Knight were playing on either end next in the theatres next to us. I left, went next door, and watched The Dark Knight.
Which I assume you'd already seen by that point.
Yeah, I'd seen it about 3 times by then. I just went next door and watched The Dark Knight. I think the other times I've done it was a film called Mutant Chronicles. That was shit, and I just went home.
Okay, that I've never heard of.
It's a terrible film. One of them was one of the Twilight films. I went out with a girl, and because she wanted to see one of the Twilight films. Okay, I was about
to ask why you went to see a Twilight film.
Yeah,
you have an excuse.
She wanted to go. I got bored and left. That's basically what happened. We never spoke again.
We just left her in the theater.
I was not that desperate for it, people. I can't remember. I think the last time might have been Oh yeah, it was Amazing Spider-Man 2. That was it. Because I'd already seen it with the person I used to do commentaries with. I saw it with him, and then I saw it a second time by myself to confirm if it was really that bad. Because I couldn't believe it was as bad as the first time I saw it. And I went in, I got about 10 minutes in, and saw Paul Giamatti as the Rhino and left again.
Wait, that's again, 5 times.
Is it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Okay, I've done it 5 times then.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but if it's a choice between spending 2 hours watching something I know I'm going to hate, or going home and possibly finding some enjoyment doing something else, then I'll do one of those things.
Okay, I see your point.
To be honest, I've seen hundreds of films in my life. On a ratio of like 5 to the hundreds, that's pretty good. And I've seen some shit films in my life.
And of course, a lot of films are shit in a way that they're funny. Like
that's the thing. Like, when I first saw Dragon Ball Evolution, I thought it was fucking amazing. And I don't mean it in a genuinely good way. I thought it was ridiculously entertaining.
See, this is how I thought about The Last Airbender.
Yeah, like, I enjoy something like Dragon Ball Evolution because it's ridiculously entertaining. Like, it's terrible as fuck, but it's so fucking funny to me. It's like you couldn't get a franchise more wrong.
Well, between that and Last Airbender, it's a pretty... Actually, no, I'd say that's worse, just from what I know of it.
This was me leaving the theatre for Amazing Spider-Man 2. Seriously, it was like, come on, we're gonna. It's like, no, we're gonna leave right now, right now. Leave me alone, Spider-Man. Oh my god, this is the scene, Steve.
This is the meme-tastic scene.
This is the best. This is the best. This is the most hilarious thing in the entire world to me.
It should be on a t-shirt if it's not already.
The way he puts his hand on his hips as well. Love it. Apparently he wasn't supposed to yell this and he just did it. I love that.
I love how he starts out like really gentle, like fatherly. And then he's like, fuck it.
Shh. Shh. Just dreams now. What box of scraps? Love it. Harry and Steve, why haven't you done Iron Man 2?
Because we're doing Iron Man 1 first.
No. The punchline was, other people were able to do it in a cave with a box of scraps.
Okay.
Here's me watching Avengers 2. I'm joking, it wasn't that bad.
First I thought it came out of his phone. I was like, what the hell?
It's true, phones do give you cancer. I nearly called him Tony Stark. This is Robert Downey Jr. when he was at the script meeting for Avengers 2. This is Kevin Feige, like, talking to him. Come on, Robert. No, I want to go home to my wife and children. Come on, Iron Man. We can't have an Avengers without Iron Man. This is him taking out his check.
Like him taking out his soul.
He actually likes the same machine as well. I swear to God, if that's actually how it happened. Chris Evans and the others like, just don't fight him, man, just do it. No, I don't want to do this anymore. I could be doing Sherlock Holmes 3, but I keep doing these fucking Iron Man films. Kevin Feige's like, oh, you want to leave, do you? Well, that's not going to happen, Robert. You signed a contract with the devil. And now you shall exist as a lifeless shell, forever being Tony Stark.
You timed that perfectly with that moment.
And he eats his soul. Kevin Feige looks nothing like Jeff Bridges, but for that whole thing to work, I like to imagine he looks like Jeff Bridges there. Look at it, Robert. Your soul is beautiful. You could have had it if you just agreed. Now enjoy mainstream success forever.
You are now something kids will dress up as every Halloween.
No!
I've seen so many Iron Man costumes worn by people at Halloween.
I love how he brought a little suitcase for it. Now, this is a suitcase full of all the other souls of the Avengers cast.
No!
You don't want to go the way of Scarlett Johansson, do you? I think I timed that one perfectly as well.
Oh, he just ruined the entire scene. Ruined it or made it better?
You decide, audience. One of my favourite things about the script for Iron Man is Jarvis. How they've recreated Jarvis for this film. In the comics, Jarvis was a butler, like Alfred from the Batman connections coming through. He was just a normal butler, but I like the change they made in making him an AI for his house.
It makes more sense with all the technology it has. I mean, I kind of feel like it'd be kind of weird to me, Tony Stark having an actual butler.
Yeah. Like, being voiced by Paul Bettany is amazing. Now, why didn't he get on that and push himself along?
I don't need that. I'm Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr. in the quest for his soul. Proof that Robert Downey Jr. has a soul. Okay, I think this joke has officially died. I love this bit though. Oh, thank you. Meep.
I
Meep.
love you, Tony.
Fuck you. See, that's the whole suit, the Ironmonger suit. Yeah, he's actually the Ironmonger, which is kind of cool, and he's not Russian.
It is now torrentially raining over here.
I can hear it in the. I can hear it in the background.
You can hear it now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not too loudly. I can hear it. It's not as loud as the sound of Robert Downey Jr.'s soul powering the Ironmonger suit.
Okay, dead now. It was dead. You dug it up and then you killed it again.
Like his acting career. Oh! The scene of a Robert Downey Jr. party. You know, this wasn't in the script. They just, they went to film Robert Downey Jr. naturally, and this is what it was like. I'm being a bit too bitter about him now. He's actually a lad.
Well, yeah, you said that already, haven't you?
I said it too much. What do you think of the use of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this film? Do you think it's a bit too out of place?
In retrospective, not really. But if I had it if I really knew who they were the first time around, then maybe.
Well, the thing is, the only reason apparently they did it was basically as a joke to kind of for fans to get. Like, there was no other reason for them to be here. Why Tony Stark is not really a big prerogative for them. I love this though.
Oh,
is that a key? Is that a key? Kind of, yeah. Why is he standing with his arms crossed like that? I'm the dude. You won't be seeing it next film.
Trying to pinpoint when his last scene in this film is.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's hilariously ironic. Yes, it's this bit actually.
Okay then. Oh, that's ironic.
Next time, baby, not for you. Oh wow, guns. That has worked so well in the past against superheroes. I mean, apart from Bruce Wayne's parents, who's been killed by a gun in a superhero film?
As far as superheroes go, not a whole lot. Or supervillains.
Apart from Batman's parents.
I'm pretty sure they don't count as superheroes. That'd be interesting.
They're rich. Their superpower is being rich. Why? What? Something I would like to ask is, Obadiah Stane is now in the Ironmonger suit. It's very fucking powerful. Why does he waste his time hiding?
Because he wants to be ominous and dramatic.
Because he understands the concept of tension.
Of course.
Hello.
Hello, puppet.
I get that reference. How the fuck does she run that fast in heels?
It's not as much as what's her face in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Outrunning a T-Rex.
Yeah, but she had Chris Pratt with her. Our Guardian of the Galaxy, ladies and gentlemen.
And she's taking a very casual little walk.
Yeah. Hello, Poppet. Why did he come out from underneath the ground? Is he the Iron Mole? I love the way Iron Man comes in here. It's fucking amazing. That voice is amazing. Bam!
What was that voice?
What, me?
Yes.
And bam!
Bam! Take that, I'm Iron Man. They walk at him. Hey, get out of the way!
Ooh.
That's what I call road rage.
I love this suit, Tony.
I'm gonna hit you with children to show that I'm evil.
Bam! These fucking people annoy me. That kid looks so scared. I'm so scared. Well, to get you back,
run him right over. Grateful bastards.
I've permanently scratched your car. Eat it. I love this. Just grabs the fucking motorbike.
This kind of reminds me of the final fight scene in the Hulk.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a similar concept, just fighting in the middle of the city, just using everything.
Actually, yeah.
Just stabbing him.
Bam! Bam!
Burm.
No, every character's got the same voice to me.
Okay.
I love that he turns around to get his little fuck you laser missile out, and he called it a laser then.
Well, it's the fuck you laser in conjunction with the fuck you missile. They work together.
That was the daintiest recovery ever. In a cave with a box of scraps. That's where he made those upgrades.
You came from a box of scraps, I'll return you to a box of scraps.
In a box of ashes. Look how slowly he goes up.
It just occurs to me, we haven't even seen Stain inside the suit yet, have we?
You do in a little bit, but no, not really. How is that allowed to fly? Yeah, how is that an excuse? So, what are your opinions on this fight? Do you find it entertaining? Because I think it's really entertaining.
Yeah, I think it's pretty entertaining. Part in the middle is a little long, but I get the point.
Yeah. I like that he's like, tell me how much power I've got. Now stop telling me, just leave it on the screen. God, it's really coming down over there, I can hear it.
Let me look outside. Yeah, it still is.
There's Jeff Bridges in a can. Free falling. Free fall. Bam! Oh dear. Now the answer to this is just let yourself fall, and before you hit the ground, stop. Or hit the ground and stop suddenly.
Ooh.
That thunder.
I don't hear any thunder.
Ah.
And again, I'm listening to this. Maybe what you're hearing is.
No, say,
imagine
if Ironmonger punched his actually human hand and broke his fucking fist. Oh. Oh, that's so creepy. Jeff Bridges' fucking face looking at me. So we're reaching the end of Iron Man. So what are do you want to sum up how you feel about this film? Or shall I just sum up?
I'm very bad at summing up how I feel about films, so you just do it.
I'll sum up. As a standalone film, because that's pretty much what it was intended to be. It wasn't intended to be a kind of a grand scale kind of open into a universe. It's deliciously entertaining, very, very funny, very well acted, despite a lot of production issues, delays. It was in development hell for a good 15 years.
Look at all that glass on the floor. Okay, sorry, Stan.
And I think it, honestly, as a result of a long kind of time in the making, I think it was well worth it. It's a very, very entertaining film. It's not perfect. There's kind of like a lot of generic story elements, if I'm honest. And as a comic book film, it has a lot of the silly, stupid elements that a lot of them do. But as a summer blockbuster, you can't really do much better than Iron Man. I guess, I wouldn't even say it's a good introduction to the Marvel Universe. I would start chronologically. Start with Captain America, then this film, then Incredible Hulk, then Iron Man. Like that.
Okay.
That's how I would do it.
But then I think this would look a little weird if you see all the references in other films and then just this mostly standalone one.
Yeah. I think it makes more sense when you watch them chronologically, honestly. So, would you agree with what I said?
I would agree, yes.
Do you think it's the best Marvel film? Because a lot of people think this is the best one.
Oh, I would have to think about that, but I'm not sure. It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there for me. My favourite is still Guardians of the Galaxy or the first Avengers film.
Okay, those are both contenders still. As is the first Captain America. I like that a lot.
Do you really? A lot of people hate that. I don't get that. I think it's really good.
Now, is that because a lot of people just hate the character, or?
I think it's honestly they hate the character, but we'll get more into that when we do the commentary. All I'll say is about Captain America the film, it has the best production design in the entire Marvel franchise.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Just do it, just please do it.
Gets himself out of the suit for no reason.
Yeah.
He kind of falls into a little Bond villain stupidity right here.
I like to imagine Jeff Bridges when they were filming that. I just want to hear the version of that when it has no effects, where it's just him going oh. Yeah.
It just slumps over.
Has a crow flown into your house? Carl! It's in here with me. It's a raven.
So yeah, pretty sure he's dead.
And that's how the world ended. Is he dead? Fuck no, we've got a whole franchise to go through yet. But if he did die, then there wouldn't be another kind of a bunch of films of.
Yeah, there wouldn't be any more Iron Mans. There wouldn't be any Avengers.
There wouldn't be any Thors, I guess. Let's be honest. Thor's not interesting enough to carry his own film.
It's Colonel Rhodes. He gives the speech right after his leaving speech.
Yeah, it's his resignation speech. Yeah. I am no longer Tony Stark's best friend.
I'm sorry, I'll be getting a body double from here on out.
I'll be looking a bit blacker in the next film. Yeah, here's the reference to the original backstory. The whole bodyguard thing. Even he acknowledges how fucking stupid it is.
Okay, I get that now.
Hey Clark Gregg, we'll be seeing you in other Marvel films down the line.
In your own series.
Oh, don't. We'll talk more about the TV series in another commentary when we've got less to talk about.
Oh, is it not that great?
Nope! Honestly, no. He can't save it, to be honest. The problem with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is, it's shit.
Oh.
Yeah, you weren't expecting that, were you?
Well, that is a pretty big problem. Kind of hard to ignore.
It's based on the premise that you find Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson interesting. No, sir, I don't.
For a second there, I accidentally like pulled my headphones out a little bit, and I got this huge audio spike. It was like,
What, just me going, it's shit.
right when you did that, yes. It's perfectly timed.
So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I think we should definitely do all the films whenever we feel like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, just do it occasionally. Like the next one we'll be doing them in release order, not chronological. So the next one we'll be doing is Incredible Hulk.
Well, we also want to like go back and forth and do other stuff occasionally.
Yeah. This is only occasional when we feel like doing it. Because let's be honest, I don't feel like watching Iron Man 2 ever.
Well, it's not next anyway.
Yeah. Well, at least we get to watch a good film before that. And then we get a few shit films, then we get a good film, then we get a load of shit films. That's just me being...
I wouldn't call that many of them shit.
That's just me being overly harsh, though.
Okay.
And you won't be eating any Burger King in this scene. Now, this whole scene is actually a reference to Stark Disassembled, which is a comic book series released a couple of years ago, where he... Oh, that's the... By the way, that I remember, that was the comic series where he reveals who he is to the world. He basically says, what's his relationship to the Avengers, and he pauses and just goes, I am Iron Man. So
was
awesome.
that before or after this film?
That was before, I think.
Okay. It'd be kind of interesting if it was after.
Yeah, it was, obviously, because I just said it was a reference to it.
Yeah, okay.
I forgot that then. I love that he's saying, like, oh, I'm not really the hero type, and she went, well, we didn't think you were. Shut the fuck up.
It's like, screw you, you're not going to be in the next movie anyway.
It's like, just don't tell him anything, Tony. Fuck you, you're not in the next film. Oh, I love this. This is the best ending to any Marvel film. Fuck yeah. And that's all from us on this commentary. We'll see you next time in the Incredible Hulk one. See you later, guys.
Yeah. Oh my god, I have to pee so much.
And that's how I'm ending it.
Oh god, did you not stop recording yet?
Yeah.